GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
With InsureMyVan.ie, the van insurance specialists. See how much you can save at InsureMyVan.ie.
Here we go again on a bumper edition of GloryDaze.
A bumper edition because we are off on our holly jobs. I can't say holly bops. It makes me fly into an angorous rage.
Yeah.
So I just call
Where
them...
did that come from, by the way?
I don't know. It's such a horrible term.
Like, it feels like something that would have come from the Instagram generation.
It does, yeah. And millennials and all. Even though they're all the millennial lingo, it's gas how that's died out very fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holly
bops was
remember?
never a good thing.
No.
It always, I have to say now, it feels, I know, like, you know,
Yeah.
I have nothing against anybody who might be a lady who quaffs Prosecco. I'm sure it's a very enjoyable thing to do.
Yeah,
and very lovely ladies.
Absolutely.
But it does feel like something that a Prosecco quaffing woman might say. Getting off my holly bops.
Off on the holly bobs there was Tony and the young ones. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But we're off. We're going. We're heading somewhere. Jim's off to what you got? Where's Jim going? He's going off the mountain for a while. Tala or something, I think. And I'm heading off Portuguese land. Heading off that way with the kids.
Mountain.
Yeah, Jim's
Tala.
Yeah, he's been coming off the mountain for his holly bobs. Yes, you're heading off.
Yeah.
Continental as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jim is great though, because Jim is like I love Jim's. Jim is always, in fairness, he loves the holidays that I love now. You know, heading
That's
off
true.
by the pool.
Yeah.
You know, 2 weeks.
Because that's the beauty of you, in fairness. In relation to your holidays, you are old before your time. You liked kind of, you know, sedate.
I did.
Sort of like, you know, taking it easy, relaxing, absolutely.
Very much,
But
yeah.
in a very much kind of, no, I don't like it too hot now.
Well, this
I
is
do
it.
like the good weather, but I like to be under an
Yeah,
umbrella.
I like to be in a daze, you know, not knowing what time. If a travel agent says, "What are you looking for?" I say, "I want to feel like I've been kicked in the face for a week, completely out of touch with reality. I want to feel like I'm in a bout of concussion. You know, out of touch, not sure what time it is, slightly dizzy." You know, unrelentingly,
because to be fair to
not
you,
caring what's happening around me.
You do like the sun, and you take the sun well and everything.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
You kind of like being in the sun in almost exactly the same clothes that you'd have in Ireland, just maybe a pair of shorts.
That's to be fair, that's essentially it.
Because you like the idea of it.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You like to know that it is sunny outside.
Out there.
Even if you're in having a pint.
I do, yeah. I mean, I'm that guy, right? I'm the guy that stands in the pub in July, right? And I'm in the pub looking out the window going, what a fucking day. You'd be mad to miss that. Imagine not going out in a day like that.
Yeah.
There's people in their houses now, you know, missing all this.
And then somebody shouts at you, you know, we've a beer garden. Fuck off, would you? Jesus.
I'm not going out there on my own, am I? Get burnt to shit. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
What a
you
day.
should be pointy, be warm and everything.
Yeah, what an
sort of a
absolute...
clown are you?
The flies and all will be dead in your point. You go out in the garden. Why don't you go out in the beer garden? No one wants to talk to you anyway. Fuck arse. And that's it. That's you know. And this is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm now embracing that because you see, I tried to go against nature. I literally tried to go against the laws of nature, right? And I used to, for years, I was doing the lie by the pool holiday.
I love
right?
that. Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that don't get me. That's a magnificent holiday.
Brilliant.
It's a magnificent holiday.
Yeah.
You go somewhere. It's my idea of heaven.
You lie
down. You read books, listen to music, doing absolutely nothing else. You have a beer by the pool. You eat by the. You know, it's everything. The problem is, I am the pastiest see-through Irish man.
Yeah, Jim is like, you can see, when Jim goes to the cardiologist, he goes, do I need a scan? He goes, no, I can see your heart from here. Just open your shirt. I can see it. Look, there it is.
Yeah, it's literally, you know, I am just, it is. It's kind of frightening. I look like I've just, you know, I've been locked up in a cell for a number of years.
Yeah, and it's like, they'll be there going, oh my God, we've never had someone in the sunshine with rickets before. It's unbelievable. And what I love about Jim this time around is as well, Jim has done this for years. You know, find a lovely hotel, resort, sit down by the pool, read your book, have your beer, worry about nothing but your next meals, all that. This time Jim goes, I want to do something different, you know, more of an adventure. So instead of doing that in a resort, he's doing it in a city. Exact same thing, but in a city, where you can walk around outside the hotel for a little bit. Yeah. As well.
Because I literally said to
this
DJ...
is like, I'll tell you, I'm pushing the boat out here. You never know what go on.
Because I literally said to DJ, right? Because like this year instead, you know, I want to be able to kind of like, you know, go somewhere and just, you know, kind of like have lunch
That was it, yeah. Adventure. Walk into a place.
What do you mean instead of just lying by the pool or whatever, maybe like go out somewhere and sit down and and have lunch.
Do mad shit, like get a sandwich somewhere else. Mad shit, like. Yeah, that's what I want to do, yeah.
It's a big deal for me. It's a big move for me.
A big move. It's a big move, yeah.
Now, I have made sure that there is a pool on the top of the hotel, just in case.
But I'm just saying. You don't like the sandwich shop across the road. So you can say
to be honest with you, as ridiculous as that sounds, it's absolutely true.
It's absolutely true. But
and the other thing about it is, the way people, we used to slag them off all the time, right?
Yeah.
The people who, they'd go on a sun holiday, and then they'd have to do the kind of, we did the day over to the thing there. And they were collected at 7:30 in the morning and they went off.
It's only brilliant. And we met this couple called
And so we always slag them off, right? So my version of that now is, to embrace it, is I'm going to go to a place where I can go and see something.
Yeah.
But I can walk
back.
But
you can walk away from it. Like if you're, I know what you mean. Not a coach or anything.
No.
Or even a cycle.
If somebody say, if you go down there, there's a mad cathedral down there.
Yeah.
How far down?
Where?
Like about 2 minutes, just walk.
1 kilometre.
Okay, that'll do. I'll go there.
Is there a bar across the road? Yes. I'll walk down. If it's shit, I'll have a pint and I'll walk back.
I'm sorry, that's true.
Adventure.
Yeah, that is my version. I'm going sightseeing.
Yeah, where are you going?
How far did you go from the hotel? Oh, well, I mean, obviously, geez, I tell you, there was a 10-minute walk to one of the places.
Yeah, it was ages there. I was lucky there was a Gino Ginelli's on the way back. Or not, that's cream. An ice cream place on the way back, or it would have been mad. It could have been half the day gone, yeah. I know,
So that is like, I am going, this is a whole new leaf for me,
And
PJ.
isn't it brilliant? Isn't it great? I love that culture's vacuum sort of thing as well, where you kind of go, right, if the hotel is great and the food is good and all, then it doesn't matter if the 370,000-year-old cathedral is shit. Because I'll be able to get a tortilla and chips. I won't be too disappointed,
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I finally embraced, you know what I mean? I'm going to be like...
Going for it, yeah.
Tell you.
And that's the thing, I'll never forget.
I'm going to bring a pair of runners and all.
See? Oh, he's not messing.
For like walking.
Yeah. Normally Jim goes around in just his socks and sandals. Walking around and the knotted hanky on his head. But that's the thing, isn't it? I'll never forget being in Barcelona and we were standing at the Sagrada Familia,
wow.
The church that they say it'll be finished within the next 10 years. They've been building it for 140 years or something like that, And I'll never forget. And the guy beside me, he goes, wow. And I went, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? He goes, the arse on her. I went, stop now. I'm so sorry I came here with you. I'm so sorry I came here with you.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different type of sightseeing,
wow.
that is.
You just went, wow.
I'm going tourist spotting.
I know, it's amazing. The arse on her. I was like, you are a fucking pain. You are the pain in my arse, actually.
Philistine.
Give me a minute. I'm trying to be. We're going to be eating ice cream, giving out about in 5 minutes. If you stop just looking, just give me 5 minutes, yeah. And that's and the thing is, because I'm not much better. I'm just saying, I don't be walking around commenting on people's arses, but I do look at the church and go, after 10 minutes, I was kind of like, see, I've seen it in the pictures, I did see it.
I mean, I would
pictures.
have assumed that your holiday version, right, is like, because you are somebody who you do like. Not so much planning. You don't like organised stuff. You do like to be impromptu.
I hate
but you like to know that when you need, like, for example, something to eat, that won't become an issue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether you'd, appreciate going out on safari, say, where there wouldn't necessarily be an Irish bar within.
I'd hate that. I'd done all that. I did all that for years. I did all these adventure holidays and things and trekking around and travelled around the world on my own and all of that. I did all that. I did it all.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't pushed on it. People say it changed their lives. It did change my life. It reminded me that, there's better ways of doing things and all.
Yeah.
And I am like that. Yeah, I do. And it is. I need, like you, a parachute. I need a parachute.
There has to be a get-out clause.
And that's the thing. I did all that. I travelled around the world on my own. I biked all around the place on my own. I biked through Eastern Europe on my own and the whole lot. And then I remember I went to Greece with the woman I was seeing at the time, And this is showing you the difference in adventure. And we got there, I was there going, what's it like in the hot? And your man says, you got this here, you got this here. And I was there, and what's the food like? And he goes, you got that restaurant there, you got this here. You have the panini shack here, and he goes, you'll never be hungry. He goes, you'll never be hungry.
The panini shack, brilliant, yeah.
So I was there, the restaurants are closed at this time. I'll head over to the panini shack, and it was closed. It was no food available for an hour and a half, right? An hour and a half the whole day. And I turned around and says, what a fucking shithole, I said to her. right? And she's like, "Are you serious?" And I went, "Yeah." And then I was that bastard at the panini shack is gone, right? And she's like, "What are you talking about?"
An hour and a half.
And I wouldn't mind if I left the resort. There's a shop across the road there. That fucking bastard is at the panini shack. It says it's open at 2. It's 15:15. This is fucking ridiculous. This is ridiculous. She's like, "Are you being for real?" I was like, "Yeah, I am for real." I was annoyed.
Wow, you do.
I said, "I'm gonna go for it." Yeah, and she said,
You do love to embrace the local culture.
Yeah, she's there. "Calm down." I went, "You calm down. I'm going for a fucking drink." I was all really annoyed, and I sat there for an hour seething.
Yeah.
And then he opens up the panini. I was like, "Give us 2 of them ham things. You're only supposed to have 1." I was like, "Give me 2. One of them's for her." Jesus Christ! Talk about being. I
love it.
What an absolute arse I was.
I still love it. I still
love
love
it.
it.
I didn't even
It's
enjoy the
fantastic.
sandwiches then. Unbelievable. I'm waiting an hour and a half for these fucking paninis. I was over there drinking. I didn't even want to drink. Now I look to say, "You'll never be hungry." Telling people I'd never met before, "You'll never be hungry," they says. Well, that's a lie. That's a fucking lie. I was fucking starving. For 40 minutes I was starving.
Oh my God! Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, man, that is the way forward.
Yeah.
That is I'm glad we're on the. You're back on the same. You know what I mean? You're back to being
back to that
kind of understanding your limitations. It's like when somebody said to me, somebody who'd been to Seville before, right, said, "Oh, you know, you can go to or whatever, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, yeah." And in my head, I was going, "Oh yeah, wow." And in my head, I was thinking, "So like that's a different city, is it?"
Yeah, that's where.
That's.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
I mean,
only
you like.
Oh my God, you're only a 15-minute drive.
Or a train. You get a train to a fucking a what?
A train?
A train.
What do I look like? I'd rather be unemployed than get a train to work. Well,
Like, you know what I mean? It's
you're
like
not with me here.
you get a train down to, and there's a lovely and
Gorgeous,
and I'm thinking to
beautiful
myself,
town. All the boats and all the yachts are in.
You lost me a train. I have to say.
Train.
Yeah.
Train. I'm not even going to get a taxi. If I can't hear my plane take off from my hotel room, I'm not going. I'm walking.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to embrace all it has to offer. Of course,
for
I
sure,
am.
yeah. And
Certainly within a walking distance.
Yeah, and that's the best. So I love about the city you're going to. It's such an old, historic, one of the oldest cities in Spain. It's like, the conquistadors came there, all these things. So you've all the, and it's so.
Oh, and I'll steep myself in the heritage of
that's
it.
the thing.
Again, within walking distance.
And it was made by people who didn't know the car was even going to exist. So you can
Brilliant.
walk the whole city in relatively low time.
I may never come back.
They actually put walls up so other people couldn't walk in years ago. Which means.
Jesus, I love it even
you
more.
don't even have to walk out, So you'll be. You're like.
I may never come back, man.
Exactly.
I may retire over there.
I can't, and that's another thing. I used to hate when people go, "We go to the same place every year. Every year we go over to the place we stay in. We know your man that runs the place. Pierre is his name. He's French, but he lives in France and Spain, whatever." And we go, and I used to think, the size of this planet.
Yeah.
The size of it.
Why would you restrict
and
yourself?
you want to go to the same place, to the same people.
Year after year.
We meet the same family there, the Rileys. They're absolutely gorgeous. Sometimes we meet and we have drinks at Christmas in Ireland and everything is beautiful. I just think, you are a waster. You're
Absolutely.
a waster.
Yeah.
Now, if I found that place that that ticked all my boxes,
Yeah.
I think the one reason I was so upset with that bastard in the panini stand was because that was the one
You
reason
pinned your hopes
I couldn't
on
go. Yeah, I was nearly doing it. I was nearly going back every year. And the panini stand let me down.
He let you down.
Yeah.
Fucking panini shack.
I said panini bastard, as I called him for the whole holiday after that. And I'll never forget when Panini Bastard was there at the end. I was really fond of him at that point. And I ate the 2 paninis,
Yeah.
I sat there and I had a couple of beers on me. And then it was just, all of a sudden, I wasn't sulking anymore. And the restaurants were open. I was sitting by the pool. And your woman goes, "You feeling all right now then, are you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm grand now, yeah." "So you feel, yeah?"
Wow.
Yeah, not a bad place after all.
So
It's
are you
not bad. Yeah.
Are we saying?
Thick,
Are we saying now that if Panini Shack ever opened up in North Strand, that you'd never go on holiday again?
I'd never go again, as long as it was called Panini Bastard. If that was the name of the shop.
Yeah. Why would we leave? Everything's on our doorstep.
I'm not going to
There's a
party.
Panini Bastard over there.
There's literally Panini.
Fuck, I can go back down to the Pebble if I'm stuck.
I'm not going away in the summer. Panini Bastard does a special right through July. You get a free bowl of soup.
What do you think I am? Fucking mad.
I'm not an idiot. You won't fool me. Yeah.
Wow. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Anyway, let's give you a few bits and pieces that we did during the week. I'm trying to think, did the subject of holidays come up really? I kind of did in a weird sort of a way.
Yeah.
Because, obviously if you're travelling vast differences, or distances rather, say for example from the south side of Dublin to the north side of Dublin.
Crazy stuff, I know, but some people do. And they would have the weekend that this podcast came out.
Absolutely. And again, we had some really important advice to
Very
offer
good,
those travellers.
Great information from the Herald, I have to say.
Better than you'd get from Lonely Planet, I tell you. We were talking about that. There was, we had a bit of ghost therapy.
A bit of ghost therapy, yeah.
Oh, of course.
You'll hear it at the start, but basically, if your therapy is expensive, you can't get into a good therapist, don't worry about it. This is the perfect advice for you.
Absolutely. Obviously, PJ, we've said many years, has been a dedicated follower of fashion. He does love a good fashion brand and a good fashion trend.
I gave up on it all because I got slagged so much.
Well,
yeah, I
the thing
did.
about it is, it looks like that a beautiful synergy has arrived between PJ's age and fashion, right? Where his inability to control his bladder may actually make him a fashion icon.
Who knew? Who knew I was bordering on becoming, a trendsetter? Who
Wow.
knew? Yeah.
This is an extraordinary trend, but it's out there, people. It's out there. Also, one of your great skills, of course, undervalued in many respects, as that of a balloon modeller.
Balloon modelers, yes. Oh, wait, you see. It's about time they got the recognition they deserve, and that's what this is all about, yeah.
Art.
Absolute art, a craft. If not an art, definitely a craft.
Absolutely.
That needs to be recognised.
And then again, there was an awful lot that was tied into you this week on the show.
It's not like I like to go on about myself. How unusual. How unusual for this show.
But you are a great celebrant of minimalism.
I am, very much so. Definitely very, very much so. And Jim, quite the opposite, as you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sadly backfired again.
Jim put on a suit jacket to go out there last night and his confirmation ribbon was still on it. He was mortified. The man that likes to hold on to things, that's all I'm saying.
I'm so glad I'm going to get a couple of weeks of peace, I can tell you. Have a listen, we'll talk to you the other side.
GloryDaze. The best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
With InsureMyVan.ie, the van insurance specialists. See how much you can save at InsureMyVan.ie.
If you're looking for a way of kind of, like if the week, you come off the back of the weekend, your weekend, maybe it was relaxing, maybe it was fantastic, maybe you're already kind of chilled and everything. Or maybe on the other hand, you're a bit like me and PJ and really wish that we could go home now.
Yeah, big bouncy castle head on me.
But if you're looking for a way to get a bit of relaxation and a bit of zen and a bit of calm into your life,
yeah,
my learned colleague here, PJ Gallagher, is about to tell you how.
Bird watching. 30 minutes of bird watching a week will really dramatically and drastically improve your mental health, apparently.
Brilliant.
A researcher from North Carolina went in and did all of this, a 12.1% average increase in well-being compared to an 8.5% increase for just people who go out and walk in nature. Looking at birds, he said, can do something to your brain. He had a control group. They had a 2.6% increase. Starting to see these are very slim margins now.
Yeah.
They're starting to think now, you start 2.6, you start thinking, right, what's the other motivation here? Well, here it is. They asked the doctor what he does to unwind, and he says, well, I'm a bird watcher. No, well, what about? So it's basically
How did
like,
that happen?
If Jim was a scientist, it'd be like, what do you think would be good for mental health? And he'd go, shaving your back and having a jar at Sunday. It's the same as he'd ask me. And I'd say, well, eating biscuits on your own all day long. He just found a way to try and prove.
To try and promote bird watching, basically.
Bird watching. And let's be honest, it depends where you live.
Although, in fairness, it's a bit. I'd imagine there's. The way they used to say that having an aquarium was supposed to be very good for blood pressure and everything. That if you, literally just watching the fish just casually do what they do in aquariums,
just fishing
swim,
around.
I suppose.
Yeah, fishing around the place.
Yeah, that was. So I can kind of, I could understand maybe. Like we've a bird feeder thing, at home in the back garden or whatever. So. When they do, it's nice to see them there,
Of course it is. You live on the top of Walton's Mountain. You get to see all blue tits and all these red sparrows and whatever, like flight hawks or whatever they're called. Whereas all I get to see...
You'd be brilliant. I'd love to. You'd be fantastic. doing a bird watching video. I'd say that's a flight hawk.
That's a flight hawk.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a what's the last thing you called?
I don't know.
A red sparrow.
A red sparrow,
Wow,
or
okay.
a pelican giro, whatever they call them. And you'd see all them up around your way. If I go bird
Yeah,
watching,
God, there's all sorts. There's buzzards and kites and everything. Not kites as in tied to ropes. I mean actual birds.
well, that's what I'd see, is a pigeon stuck to a kite. That's what you'd see around my way. A pigeon stuck to a kite. Or a pigeon with one of his legs blown off and a cigarette butt in his mouth, chewing, eating a poo on O'Connell Street. That's the type of bird watching I'd see.
Yeah, you'd be limited in what you might get. You might get a seagull now and again, would you? Would you get a seagull
you get
near you?
Seagull, yeah, eating the bins, pulling the bins apart, yeah, on a Wednesday. You get loads of them.
Is that calming? Not if it's European,
Not really.
I suppose.
Or an old heron chewing a plastic bag, eating one of those ring things that stick cans together.
Right,
You know, that's
yeah.
all you'd see.
He didn't factor that into his research, did he?
How's your mental health going? Well, it's great, yeah. I seen two wonky pigeons nibbling on a poo, and I seen
And two crows fighting over a cigarette box.
yeah, and a magpie, or as we like to call them, flight hawks.
Glory Days. It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
You do like a bold print. You've often talked about your love for a high fashion brand.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
not
You used to wear like very exclusive high fashion kind of
Not
brands.
anymore. I don't anymore. I've too much grief. This is the thing. You can do nothing these days without some old fella commenting on it.
Has age crept
Nothing.
in, has it?
Some old fella has to come in and say, "Come on, you down. Look at you wearing a beret and all. Who do you think you are? Batman or something?" He's like, Batman didn't even have a beret. You don't know what you're talking about. And now I'm doing it. This is the worst thing. I was trying at least to push myself into a fashionable state of affairs. I've given up. And now I'm all upset today. There's a new company, started in 2018, so relatively new, called Jordan Luca, right?
Okay.
They've been making jeans and they've been sort of trying to be a little bit different for a few years now. So their last pair of jeans had a horizontal zipper on the front rather than a vertical one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Horizontal.
Yeah, so you go from left to right or whatever. So, no, but they're new jeans. And by the way, you cannot get these. They are completely sold out at 500 quid a pair, all gone. And their new selling point is it looks like you've gone to the toilet in your trousers, is what it's like. You know the way. That's what it's all darkened around the crotch area. It's all darkened to make it look as if you had an accident or extra.
And by the way,
when you were thought you were finished, you weren't finished.
In case anybody listening to this is thinking, well, I mean, they're obviously something else. That's not what they mean by it. They literally have been described as pea-stained jeans.
Pea-stained jeans.
That's how they are described. Pea-stained jeans.
You want to see, and like your man in the model on the catwalk, he's wearing winkle pickers, which I thought they went out after the Smiths released their last album.
He's also wearing like a ska jacket.
And yeah, he's wearing like a ska bomber jacket, and then he's got his jeans on, very straight jeans, and it's got complete stains all around the area where you would.
Yeah.
The area that should be out when it shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And
So in other words, what once was... I mean, in fact, we've living between us. We've a living example of this happening when we went to do a little chat at one of the radio kind of gatherings.
Oh, what are you bringing that up for?
There
now?
was that, and I mean, we'd made the arrangement. Everything was discussed.
What are you bringing that up
I
for?
was just saying, as you know, an example of how times have changed. And we'd had the discussion, and the idea was we were going to stand. We'd agreed we'd stand together on stage and do this. And then we got up on stage, and PJ just sat down. So I thought, like, he's just forgotten again. But no, there was a reason why you sat down as opposed to stand, wasn't there?
I may have got water on the front of my pants just before we were supposed to go on stage. I may have got water on the front of my pants. Sink water. It was sink water. It looked like it was something else. It was sink water.
All I'm saying is that times have changed. You were embarrassed about having a watery area.
I still am. I wouldn't have brought it up at all. I'm still embarrassed about it. I wouldn't have said it.
And yet now... that would be celebrated as being at the height of fashion.
High fashion, yeah.
Height of fashion.
And this is a landmark moment, ladies and gentlemen, for me, because this is the first time I've ever felt like my dad. It's the first time I understand that when my dad saw me in ripped jeans, what he was thinking. When he's looking at me going, oh yeah, buying trousers so you can look like you can't afford trousers. That's what you're doing. You want to buy trousers so you look like a fella. You want to buy trousers and live in a house so you can look like a fella who can't afford trousers and doesn't live in a house. That's what you're trying to do. I was like, no, it's cool. It's what everyone's wearing.
I know. I've decided to let them go, though.
If I had told him,
the ripped. You don't have any more ripped jeans, do you?
I don't have any more.
There's a pair in my wardrobe all right there, but they'll never see the light of day again.
That's it. Yeah,
I've had to let it go now.
Jim got all upset there. He says I had to go more age appropriate. He says he's gone into it now. Wait to see him. He's going to be wearing brown shoes and jeans and walking around.
No, I won't.
He will.
But I had to let go the. You know what I mean? Well, for not even just age reasons, I think physical reasons.
Physical reasons.
Sometimes your body just takes on a shape that isn't appropriate for certain fashions.
He had to get rid of the skinny jeans as well. He had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think...
Not only did they not look right, when it's tough to get into them, you kind of know that's a sign you shouldn't really be in them.
Yeah.
So let them go.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think jeans that don't close were ever a fashion. Maybe that'll be the next thing.
Why not?
Now that, wee jeans are all the fashion, then why wouldn't, wide open jeans, because I can't close them, be a fashion in the future? This is it now.
That could be the way going.
What's next? Well, just jeans that are around your ankles. They fly open. Is that it? Walking around.
Jeans held up with a bit of rope.
Jeans held up with a nail, yeah.
That could be the way forward.
And all your stuff hanging out the front of them. That's what's going to be hanging on next.
I don't think that's obligatory.
That's what they're going to do next, Jim. It's a slippery slope. The young people have no models.
GloryDaze. The best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
With InsureMyVan.ie, the van insurance specialists. See how much you can save at InsureMyVan.ie.
And you know something, when it comes to music, we have proper recognition. You have the IMRO people and all that. You have the Arts Council when it comes to painters or performers and all those type of things. You got a lot of scholarships for musicians and classical music. But what about the humble balloon makers? Well, the balloon makers have decided the game is up. The time has come. They're sick of being taken for granted, seeing as nothing more than children's entertainers who make balloon poodles while your young fella throws a burger on the floor in a restaurant.
Yeah. There's more to balloon modelling than a sword.
Yeah. And one particular man has stepped forward and said it's time to make the craft officially recognised. He stepped forward and said we need a union. We need to have a proper apprenticeship type thing. Nowadays, anyone, he said, can go out and buy a packet of long balloons and call themselves a balloon maker. And all they can do, maybe half of them can't even do a dog. They do a sword on the side of the road and they sell them for 20 pence. And it's ridiculous. It makes a mockery of the craft. It makes a mockery of the art.
We've seen some of the photographs of this chap's work, and
it's amazing.
They are incredible.
It is actually amazing.
They are nothing like you could imagine balloon modelling to be.
You want to see he does baboons and skeletons and hummingbirds and skunks and
snakes. And by the way, when we say snakes, that's not just one big long balloon.
No.
We're talking about an actual.
No, there must be 100 balloons. They're all intertwined. It's great stuff.
The frog is very good. The bee is very good.
The bee is amazing. The parrot. There's some of them I don't know what they are, but they're still balloons.
Skeletons of things and all. Yeah. But anyway,
and he's saying, people it's not a laugh. It's not a joke. It's a craft. It's something that, balloons. Why should balloons be sneered at? Somebody makes an Eiffel Tower out of lollipop sticks and people stand back and go, wow, that's amazing.
Exactly.
He makes a giraffe and he goes,
well, he actually goes to say that giraffes are one of the most hard animals to make.
He says, have you any idea how hard it is to do a giraffe? People think it's just a horse with a long neck. It's not like that at all.
I would have gone that way.
Well,
I would have assumed it was you just make a horse with a long neck.
No, Jim. Here, look. Come here. I know this is the radio now, but right, if you do a horse, you go like this, right? That's a horse.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Giraffe is. Ooh. That's a giraffe.
Totally different.
Totally
I see what you mean.
Different.
I have an appreciation of it now.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was there.
That's a giraffe.
God, there was a lot more work in the giraffe, I have to say.
It is, yeah. You'd be working hard to make a lot of giraffes all day.
Yeah.
Sword is easy.
That's
a sword.
Wow.
Simple as that. A dog, no problem. Dog. Giraffe. Probably 3 times the length.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm a bit of an expert myself.
I was just going to say, that was highly informative. That was highly informative. I understand now. I support this man's campaign to have balloon art recognised as a proper art form.
Yeah, but there you go.
Witness that.
So you can imagine how upset he was when he went into the Arts Council up in Wales. When he walked into the Arts Council and says, I demand to be recognised. And he said, balloons. He says, we don't care about balloons. And he says, well, you've got balloons outside saying happy birthday. for somebody who's coming in your cake and everything. And they were like, yeah, but we blew them up ourselves.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, did you now? Well, imagine how much better it would have been if I did allow the giraffes.
Did you walk in and go, can I just say to you?
Yeah. You know what you can do? You can off the whole lot of you.
Glory Days. It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
PJ, as you know, well, maybe you don't know, okay, but I think we've said it enough times that you're probably somebody who celebrates minimalism.
I mean, God,
we've said it on this show that he once famously, and he claims that this is absolute actual fact, he once owned one fork, one knife, one plate.
Two in case someone came over, actually, yeah.
Two.
Yeah, two bowls, two knives, two forks.
But anyway.
Two plates, two cups.
And as a result, and famously you also said that when you moved house, you literally were able to just drive, like in your normal car.
Yes.
And not even particularly full car.
No.
And that was all your stuff.
That was everything, yeah.
That you had.
Bar the motorbike, yeah.
So you do not suffer from this now.
I absolutely 100% do not only not suffer from it, I don't understand it in the slightest, right? Time of year where you go through all your stuff, you know, you're especially clothes now, the weather's about to change and all of that, you know, and you start going, I'm never going to wear that again, throw it out. Spring cleaning the house, oh geez, haven't used that in ages, throw it out. Haven't seen that in ages, throw it out. Oh my God, that's something from when I was a child, I don't need that, throw it out. And that's what you're supposed to do. But apparently people have a really difficult time with it. Jim McCabe, I know, has a difficult time with it.
I do, yeah.
Jim McCabe has probably keeping his school tie in case he might get stuck for a tie one day or something. Like,
maybe not quite in that level, but I do. I mean, it depends on what it is. But I do.
We are such
I do have to
opposites.
be reminded regularly to throw stuff out.
Oh, Jim won't throw out. Jim's one of these fellas. He'd buy a salad, he'd take it home, he'd eat half the salad, then he'd put the salad in the fridge, and 2 days later he'd take out the salad and he'd put it in the bin, where he could have done it 2 days ago. But you'd never know. You'd never know.
Have you ever done that thing with them? You know, say you've cooked breakfast, right? You've cooked, say, sausages and rashers, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody's had their portions, but there's like a
bit left.
Like, you know, maybe a rasher and two sausages
Here we
left
go,
over or something or whatever.
And you put it in the fridge or you keep it or wrap it up. No, see, I've never done that.
No, because you just eat it on the spot.
I just eat it.
Because you're a hunger.
And I have a scarcity
saying,
mindset. I think if I don't eat it now, I'll be starved. Somebody's going to come into the house, put a gun to my head and eat the last sausage.
Ultimately,
I don't
at the end
know
of
why.
the day, we're the same and we would just eat them at different times.
You go back and put it in the bin or something.
I wouldn't put it in... Well, if I wasn't there, somebody might put it in the bin behind my back.
I'm sorry,
but
nobody's ever walked into the house and says, now, where's that half sausage and one rasher I left here on Tuesday? It's never happened. But here's the list of things that people find hardest to get rid of, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of surprises on this. So, like old school and college work, some people hold on to their school.
No, you must be joking.
I couldn't even keep hold of it when I was supposed to hand it in.
You didn't do any when you were there. How could you hold on to it? It never existed.
Right.
You never did any college work or projects or school things.
I was in college for years.
Literally.
I was in school for years.
They couldn't get you into the college, let alone your work.
Weeks in school before they realised they didn't even own a pen. And then it was...
that is weird now. That's
unread books and magazines. How are you with unread books? Do you have loads of them? Do you keep them? Yeah, just look at them, yeah.
There's a lot of books on the shelf already that I may not have. I may not have gotten around to read. And books are nice and everything.
The books are nice. This is what happens now. This is how the excuses go. Oh, I won't throw that T-shirt out. It's nice. Yeah, but it fit you when you were 15. Oh, I know, but you know yourself, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing I do. I did run
Someone
recently.
will use it someday.
It is very, and it is very liberating. It is very good. I did it recently there a few weeks back. I did the old wardrobe kind of like, well, that's gone, right? That's going to have to go. A few of them were touch and go, but
yeah,
I went all in. I went full on with it.
They're good, like you tough.
But I do find it difficult. I tell you what the other thing was, which was really embarrassing, was just over the years, you know the way you accumulate CDs or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And then, obviously, that's gone and it's all streaming and everything. It's still very difficult to bring yourself to physically throw out CDs and DVDs.
It isn't. I'd set a fire. I'd get rid of them for you. I go around and get rid of them all.
I ultimately did throw them out, but I'm just saying you do end up going through the kind of, God, I wonder now, should I transfer them onto it?
Isn't?
Just, whatever.
I've never had trouble with it. Straight into the bin. Straight in. I had a bag of clothes there that hadn't opened in a few weeks, and Kelly says, will you go through them and see which ones you want and all, and I'll give the rest to charity. And I picked up the bag and everything and just threw it into the charity bin.
Without looking.
She was, you don't know what's in it. I was there going, well, obviously, if I didn't miss it for 3 weeks, doesn't matter.
Here's an insight into PJ's ability to get rid of things. There's been times when Clint or John or whatever would come in with maybe a memo, something that would be relevant to something we were doing in the show, and he'll have thrown it out before he's read it. He literally just sees a piece of paper, scrumples it up and throws it in the bin. And then somebody comes in and goes, have you got those questions? What?
What questions? What are you talking about? No one gave me questions.
Wow.
I know, it's
so
pretty
you will
bad.
never suffer from hoarding.
And you keep cables and all? Would you old chargers and all in case you might buy something that might fit it in the future? Would you do that on old phones and stuff like that? Would you do all that shit?
Not always.
Yeah, you do. Can you imagine his wire drawer?
Well, no, I'm just saying there might be
imagine?
there might be a box in the garage that has some things of that nature.
Can you imagine what's in that garage? The old Hoover chargers from the 70s and everything.
No.
Bags and all. Be all like, disposable chopsticks and all in that you'd never know he might need it sometime. Plastic knives and forks that he got with meals that he never opened. Be all in there.
Oh, again, occasionally I do the purge of those kind of things, But you never know when a plug might come in handy or something.
A plug. You never know when a plug might come in handy. There you go. This is scarcely much.
Anyway, stop talking about me and get on with your survey.
Guess what number 1 is?
What?
Friends.
Oh, no.
Toxic friends. People just cannot seem to offload toxic friends. That took me by surprise to be on the list. You can't get rid of them.
Yeah, they
as
are.
Much as
but that's
because
it's not just your choice. They keep clinging on to you. You can't kind of just... You know what I mean? At least when you throw a shirt out, it stays thrown out.
Yeah, it doesn't come knocking on the door.
You know what I mean? You can tell a friend to go and
doesn't
whatever,
keep asking
and they
you.
still ring you going, are you sure you're not going for a pint?
New sim, new me. That's my motto, Jim. Never knew you.
GloryDaze. The best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
With InsureMyVan.ie, the van insurance specialists. See how much you can save at InsureMyVan.ie.
We had one of our contestants mention the fact that she was looking forward to the rugby this weekend, Leinster in action, but not in their sort of traditional home ground.
No, they're playing in Croke Park. Croke Park, they're playing Leinster, they're playing Northampton Saints tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. I mean, a big, big day. I do remember the last time rugby came to Croke Park. Jeepers, I remember Southsiders walking around Summer Hill with their Lonely Planets and all out. Wondering what was going on altogether. And let's be honest, it is still a running joke. Whether it's true or not, it's still a running joke that Southsiders know nothing about the North Side, Yeah,
because this is a weird thing whereby... I mean, you wouldn't imagine a ground moving or whatever, would there be that big a deal? But for some reason
it just
the idea of it crossing the river seems to have caused consternation for people.
And, the Herald have done a great thing today. Guy Alan Caulfield has done a piece in the Herald today giving Northside advice to Southsiders who are straying over for the first time. So, give them a few tips on what to do, where to go, the do's and the don'ts. The cultural differences between the two sides of the city, so that they don't make a jackass of themselves walking around. And I have to say, it really does cover the basics.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, that you'd go to... I know he's slightly taken the Michael out of the whole thing, right?
And honestly, he's done it to such a degree. I don't know if he's genuinely trying to be helpful or not in places.
Yeah.
So
in other words, you're thinking there may well be Southside people out there who genuinely are perplexed at the prospect.
Absolutely no idea how to get to Croke Park.
What do you mean how to get there?
That's what the first bit of advice that he has in the paper today is getting there. How to get to the North Side, right? I'm not even joking. How to get there. By car, yes, rugby fans, he says, are encouraged to take public transport, but if you can't, and you do choose to drive, you will find ample driving and parking on the narrow streets of, the north side and around the venue.
Wow. Yes, Southside people, they do have roads on the north side.
We do have roads, and as a Croke Park resident myself, I am telling you, you'll be given a fine welcome.
Yeah. You won't have any wheels, of course, when you attempt to go home. But nonetheless...
he does write on it, and this is where it feels tongue-in-cheek, where the friendly locals are only too happy to welcome you.
Yes.
And that is true.
Absolutely.
There's something about the way he says...
Look after your car, sir.
Yeah. He says...
Lock hard, eh?
Lock hard. Yeah, Lockhart. For friendly locals are only too happy to let you park outside their house for a few quid.
If you do see a lad waving a paper,
do what he says. It's not me. By rail, he tells you there is, believe it or not, the Dart does cross the Liffey. It does go as far as Connolly Station.
Wow.
And when you get to Connolly Station, that is the north side of the city. And it's basically a 15-minute walk from there. And he gives you the details there. Also the details of the buses and all of that.
Incredible.
He then goes on to say, don't worry, plenty for you to do. There's even a pub that was transported from the south side to the north side. You know, the Bernard Shaw,
right.
which is now in Phibsbury. He says, so you'll feel right at home if you go there. Giving you advice about Phibsbury.
Things to do.
Things to do, yeah. He has things to do, yeah. Crow Park and its surround. Dorset Street in Drumcondry gives you a bit of advice there, what you can do. He tells you, he picks the most...
He doesn't advise on any sort of, clothing or anything. Or
no advice on clothing, but he does give you shopping. He does say, listen, there is a place called Henry Street, which is essentially like Grafton Street, but on the north side with less buskers. So he says it's good, it's great. And he says, if you go to the ILAC Centre, don't worry, there is a very nice Dunn's there that if you closed your eyes in the middle of it, you'd swear you were in Cornell's Court. You'd swear you were in Cornell's Court. So don't worry about it.
Wow.
Don't.
That's very reassuring.
And you'll be able to use your Google Maps and all that to find it. And then very nice of him to put at the end of the article, if you're a south sider and the north sider on the north side and you run into, for some reason, a medical emergency, that the Mater Hospital is open for business. And he said, and says, don't worry as well. There is a private clinic there, so you'll feel right at home.
Excellent.
Public and private.
That is a relief, because there's nothing worse than being in a strange place when you're faced with a medical emergency.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, do these people know how to do any of these things?
I went into the Mater Hospital, if that's what they call it, and they didn't even know Dr. Sheridan. I asked them to get him on the phone, and they said, I don't even know him. And
literally, while I was waiting, they didn't even know what my regular coffee order was.
It was unbelievable. You know, they didn't have a, the coffee came out of a machine. Yeah. A machine. It's no wonder they're sick. It's no wonder people can't get out of the hospital alive.
GloryDaze. It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim on Radio Nova.
There you go, folks. A special bumper edition. We packed in an extra little bit for you just to tide you over for the while we're away, because we won't have a podcast next week.
Yeah.
Unless you're planning to ring it in or something.
No, I don't think so. I think everybody knows you don't want to talk to me for 2 weeks, and I think that's probably for the best.
Not to mention that you'll be probably knee deep in panini bastards.
I will. I'll be hanging out with panini bastards. The two of us will do balloon modelling on the beach together. This is the best holiday I ever had.
Anyway, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, enjoy it. We're back on when are we back?
The 20th. We're back on the 20th.
20th.
Yeah.
Right, so there you go. Whether you like it or not, we're coming back.
Yeah.
Let's go now.
Let's get out of here. Have a great time, everyone. Make your balloons and piss your pants and enjoy the paninis. We'll talk to you soon.
You've been listening to GloryDaze, the best of Radio Nova's Morning Glory with PJ and Jim. Catch the show live weekdays 6 to 10 on FM, online at nova.ie, or on the Nova app.